Peace and blessings. This is your brother Gabar coming to you live from the Boogie Down Bronx. How we doing, folks? I'm glad to be back. Been away for a little bit. I think I gained some little pounds. Been working and eating too much. I got to get back to the gym. My schedule's all over the place. So I got to get back and schedule. So, I was thinking the other day about life and why, sometimes certain people overcome certain things. And I was, saying, is being sad, is being happy, is it a choice or is it a reaction? Right? Because let's think about it. When you're happy, something has to happen to make you laugh, a joke, family members, you guys are together, friends, right? It's a cause and effect. Are we subject to what makes us happy? Are we subject to what makes us sad? Some people said that depression is a choice. Other people say it's a condition, it's an illness, it's a mental disorder, something you catch. Other people say it's a choice. I don't know the answer to it, but I want to unpack this with you guys tonight. I want to show some videos, maybe some scriptures, see what happens. And I kind of want to present first what is out there in the ether, in the academia in regards of mental health. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a shrink. I'm just a guy asking questions, having a conversation with you folks. And thank you for joining me. You could be anywhere, but you chose to be here with me and have a conversation. Is depression a choice? Is it a disorder? Is it something else? Is it some spiritual thing that science has not yet kept up to? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. So let's go to what most people would see when it comes to mental illness and what it is and what it's not. This is basically it says here's why using depression as an excuse is a myth. Okay. So let's because that's out there. People saying that depression is a myth just for people, for lazy people, for as an excuse. Oh, I'm depressed. That's why I can't work. Is it true? Well, let's talk about it. Fair use.
I'm going to ask a question that is probably controversial, but I want to know the answer. Do you think there is a large percentage of people who use the label of depression as an excuse for not being productive, a good spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, for not doing what they know they should be doing?
I haven't encountered that yet.
You have not encountered that?
That they would say.
Now, this is my question. The doctor says I have not encountered someone who has used the mental illness thing as an excuse not to work forward, right? And this guy's answering, he kind of thinks like me, and I'm open for the idea that it's not a choice. I believe everything you do is a choice. I don't want to give something power. I don't want to give something any credence that I cannot control. And maybe that's my stubbornness, my ego, right? But according to the doctor, it's not a choice, it's a condition. And I kind of like her answer. And I want you guys to unpack this in a few minutes. If you guys want to call, just hold your calls. And we're going to be taking some phone calls in a few minutes after that. But I want to kind of set the trend because there's two other videos I want to show.
Because what you're talking about to me is a little sociopathic, I would say, where somebody would say, well, screw you, right? Like, when people cheat, they might say like, oh, well, whatever, like I'm a guy, it's in my blood, right? Like when you're dismissing bad behavior, when you're not taking ownership of it, when you're not living up to your responsibilities, when you can, right? But you simply choose not to, or you don't have empathy. To me, that starting to fall under what we call character pathology or sort of personality disorder, where you laugh something off and you're like, ha ha ha. I don't know that many people who would rather say, I have depression and that's why. Like if somebody can say, most people who have depression, let's put it this way, who have depression, don't know that that's the reason why they're not functioning. They don't use it as an excuse. They will tell me, I'm a shitty person, I'm a horrible person, I'm not a good spouse, I'm blah, 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 I suck, right? It's me who has to tell them, well, yeah, no crap, you're depressed, that's why. So I don't find that people use depression as an excuse, and if they are using depression as an excuse, it's going to make me think that there's something else going on.
I so got that. The reason I brought that up is because I've been in conversations where other people are talking about somebody who
maybe it's somewhere in the middle. Maybe people that can be depressed are also manipulators. Can you be two things simultaneously? Depress and manipulate people. Can you do those two things at the same time? Can someone be depressed and use the depression for manipulation? I do not know the answer to that. But because why would somebody go to a shrink, a doctor, if they don't need help? And if they're going into, talking to the doctor, they may be denying that they're depressed, right? Some people are court ordered, right? They have to go. Or if I think your family does an intervention, they could legally force you to go, right? I don't know. What do you guys think? Let's talk about it.
who is not living up to these people's expectations, and they say, well, and she keeps saying that she's depressed, and I know that's not the case, when this person has said, no, I am depressed. And what I'm hearing is that if somebody is using the words, I'm depressed, believe them 100%.
Believe them 100%, because it's not easy for someone to admit it, to acknowledge it, to know it, and to be able to make that connection, because depression pulls you inward, and it makes you start doubting yourself, and it makes you second guess and say, I'm a worthless person, right? And it takes a therapist or someone that loves you to be able to come back out and be like, no, dude, look at it from the outside, right? The outside, I see that you're suffering. I see that you're sick. You're not a bad person. You need treatment. You need to get better. So if you're saying I'm depressed, believe them.
Have you had people come into your office and say, Dr. Varma, I am depressed. I am at my wit's end. And after your analysis, you said, you're not depressed.
So I never want to invalidate what a person is experiencing. So if you're telling me I am depressed,
Now that's kind of hard for me. I want to tell you why. You know, no disrespect to this young lady. I'm pretty sure she's a very established doctor. But doctors got bills to pay. They got rent, they got mortgage, they got, the college tuition they're still paying off. I think it will put a doctor in a very compromising position if you're telling this person who has probably very good insurance, you could probably see them, 24 times in a year, 36 times in a year, and the insurance will pay for it. Then after that, they got to come out of pocket, right? It's probably a copay they got to pay. Would a doctor say, yeah, you're not depressed? And I'm not saying she does this, but do other doctors take advantage of people? But if someone is going to a doctor seeking for help, they got to be sick, right? There's no other way to put that. I don't know. Fair use.
I'm going to believe that, because it takes a lot of courage, a lot of guts, a lot of energy for someone to get themselves out of their house and plop down into your chair. So if they
are depressed, though.
Yes.
But don't you think there are people who are not depressed who just go because And I mean, I'm not trying to make people upset, but they go and they want to be a victim and they want to find a reason that, you know, people should feel bad for them.
Yes. Well, you're bringing an interesting point, which is one of the topics that I love, is people who don't take responsibility, right? So I think we all fall on a spectrum of taking responsibility. There are people who take absolutely none, and everything is everybody else's fault, the victim that you're talking about, and they can still be depressed. They're depressed because they take no freaking responsibility. That's why they're depressed, because everything is everybody else's fault.
Where not taking responsibility come from? I know that took a long time for me to catch up to that. Taking responsibility. I think it's spectrum to this. You know, you take responsibilities, but I think the older you get, the older you realize and you start blaming others for your shortcomings. And I think, you know, that's something that, I don't know, is one of those things that, that it takes some maturity. You know, there's a joke that, you know, I'm trying to remember the joke, but that somehow that, you know, accountability is, or women showing some form of accountability is like kryptonite or something like that. I forgot, you know, the joke, but this is a question for you. I want you guys to answer. Who do you guys think take less accountability, men or women? Or is it equal both, or, you know, it's a case by case? So according to this doctor, not taking accountability is somehow a sign of depression. Okay. I'll bite, but I'm just asking questions.
Right? And they don't see their part in it, and they keep continuing this sort of maladaptive pattern of acting and reacting to the world, not recognizing what is my place in all of this insanity? What am I contributing to the situation?
Yes. So that's a big takeaway for me. So if you're going in saying you're depressed because you are depressed, or saying you're depressed because you are not taking responsibility, either way, you're where you need to be, which is getting help from a mental health professional.
Right. And if it's somebody smart, they're going to challenge you, and they're going to be like, all right, well, what is your role in all of this? So your daughter hasn't talked to you in 10 years. Why is that? What happened? Like, what went wrong between you guys? What did she say? What did you say? You know, and what is it that you want? People who come for treatment are suffering. So that's the common denominator. You're suffering. My job is to help you alleviate your suffering. And what can I do to change that? How can we work together? I'm not going to just buy whatever you tell me and be like, oh, the whole world is against me. Really, the whole world is against you.
Everybody in the whole world.
And this is Met Crisis. It has 1.3 million subscribers. All the information is down on the video, and the title of the video is "Here's Why Using Depression as an Excuse is a Myth." Okay, fair use.
World, yeah.
Right. They all hate you, and they're all setting you up for failure. All right. So I'm gonna say, I understand that that's how you feel, and I understand that that's how you experience it, and I feel bad, and I'm sorry that you're in this position, that you're made to feel this way. What can we do to change things? So in the beginning, depending on how ready and how motivated a person is, you know, I may or may not challenge them accordingly. So it really depends on what your readiness is, your readiness for responsibility is, and what do you see as your role in this. And sometimes it's not so clear to either of us in the beginning, right? Like sometimes.
Okay, so you guys get the gist. You guys get the gist of what is going on. In particular, you guys understand and comprehend. But there's another side to this thing, you know, and this is I guess I won't say the scary, but where we need to be concerned, that, you know, I'm going to be bringing in Mr. Andrew Tate. He's, those that know him, he got banned on TikTok, and he got banned on Instagram, and I believe in Twitter account as well. All those conceptually took him out. And he's on Fresh and Fit. Fresh and Fit flew over to not Ukraine. I think they were in Romania, I believe. I think somewhere in Europe. And they were interviewing Mr. Tate. And one of the things that Tate got somehow, there was some pushback because he said that depression is a choice. It doesn't exist. He refused to believe that depression is something you catch. So let's hear a little bit of Andrew Tate, see what he has to say about this, and this what kicked him out of Twitter and these type of conversations. So fair use.
Since you touched on men's mental health, these fucking idiots, man, they've been trying to misconstrue what you say for the past year or so. Yeah. When you about the quote, depression isn't real, and they've been trying to interpret it in other ways to kind of make you look like a crazy person as usual, putting things out of context. Can you give people the definitive, like what you really mean when you say that? We know, but the audience may not.
Absolutely. I said at the beginning of this stream, I do not believe in things that take away power from me. I only believe in things that make me more powerful as an individual. Yeah. Now, I cannot deny that feeling depressed is real because every single human on the planet sometimes feels depressed. Feeling depressed is real, but being a depressive or having depression is something else. I accept that if I do feel depressed or I do feel sad or I do feel negative, which is actually very rare for me, but if it does.
Now, I do believe that what you say does make it real. If you say I'm an alcoholic and you keep repeating that, it will become a reality. If you keep saying I'm going to beat alcohol or I'm going to beat drug abuse and I'm not depressed, even if you don't believe it wholeheartedly, when you keep repeating something, it does something biologically to your brain. Of course, you have to work on it and work on faith. And we're going to go into some scriptures later in regard to what the Bible says about depression, so forth, so on. But faith is, let me tell you something. I think faith is literally a depression pill. It could cure you out of depression, having faith. I don't know if I'm onto something. But because where does depression come from? Anxiety. Where does anxiety come from? Worrying. Where does worry come from? Lack of faith. Maybe I'm onto something. I don't know. Fair use.
Does ever happen. I understand I'm human and it's an emotion I'm going through and it will pass. People who have depression believe that they have a disease that can't be fixed and can't be cured. You are handing your power away. You're giving your power to an outside source and you're saying, I have no control over this. It doesn't matter what situation you're in. You need to at least believe you have some degree of control. When I say depression isn't real, I'm not saying you don't feel depressed. I'm saying that you can fix it. It's not a disease that you caught from the sky. You can fix it by taking control of your own mind. Listen, I'll tell you right now, I don't know how to fly a plane. I don't know. But if I was in a plane and it was crashing and I was sitting in the pilot's chair, I would still hold on to the fucking gear stick or joystick or whatever it's fucking called. I'd hold on to it and try and move. Even though I don't know what I'm doing, I'd try and get some control over the scenario. I'm not going to give up and put my hands in the air and
your minds are powerful too, man. And you have the power, I believe, if to bring forth administration. I think that's the thing that we are not discussing when it comes to healing and making your mind right. Any past trauma, you gotta trick your mind. And by you saying I'm this, I'm a victim, I'm that. And I gotta be honest with you guys, man. I'm about to throw some shots at my own community. I think there's a lot of Hebrew Israelite hiding that depression with these curses. I think there may be a lot of brothers out there and sisters that are not really dealing with their trauma and just using the Bible as a scapegoat. and not addressing what's going on, and then just blaming it, to Esau, the devil, spirits, and it's all that, right? I'm saying, it could be that, or some of that, or and what have you, but I don't know. I think some people are using hiding behind the Bible, or they hide behind a lot of other things, or hiding behind I have depression, so therefore I need an outside source to fix me because I caught something. Excuse me. Fair use.
Crash into a mountain. I would try and do something. I'm not the guy who relinquishes all his control to outside forces. I believe I have a lot of control and power within myself. So when I speak to depressed people and they sit there and say, no, you don't understand, I have depression, I have depression, I have depression. You are, one, hypnotizing yourself to believe you have it. One. Yeah. Two, giving a bunch of power to this outside source instead of believing the power inside of yourself. And three, not.
That's why we have to be extremely careful in words that we say, because a lot of these words got spirits. You brainwashing yourself. You're putting a spell on you. Be extremely careful. Whatever you say, every person, every man is going to be judged whatever comes out of his mouth and whatever thought that he thought. So you should be careful what you say, what you bring to existence. I'm this, I'm that. I'm depressed. So let's start practicing using other words, because being sad, being happy, and then going back to this conversation when I first started in regards of, is being happy or being sad a internal thing or external? Meaning, for me to be happy, I need to be in a happy place, or happy things have to happen to me for me to be happy. Is it happy and sad is a cause and effect thing? Or can someone be happy without a reaction, or someone being sad without a reaction? And I guess that's depression. That's what they call depression. You're sad for no reason. You're depressed for no reason. You're not in the mood to do anything, right? I think the closest feeling to that is mourning for a dead person, right? Someone you love, you just emotionally drained, right? You haven't gotten into like an emotional night, major argument or something mentally frustrating, and the next day you just want to sleep all day, because your body just went through a shock. All these things are a reaction to an action. So what's going on when people being depressed, or people, because they say that laziness is a low level of depression. Laziness is a low level of depression. When you're lazy and you always got to struggle to do things, you do them, but it's a low level of depression. Sometimes there's other reasons. You don't find purpose in your job. You don't find purpose in your community, or you don't find purpose in your life, and you're just going through the motions. That could make you depressed as well, or just make you sad, right? And I don't use the word depressed. I use the word sad and happy. I use the word sad, happy, or content. I think content is the best place I like to be. Not sad, not happy, just content. I'm good. Pretty good. I'm good. Right there in the middle. Right? But I don't know. Let's talk about it. Fair use.
just being realistic enough to know that I feel a certain way and I feel this way because of my life circumstances. And if I change my life circumstances, perhaps my mindset might change. And that's why I say depression isn't real. The worst things on the planet could happen to me. I refuse to be a depressed person. I may feel depressed for a day, or I may feel depressive for a few hours, but I will never be a depressed person. I'm not the guy who walks with his fucking head down. I'm the guy who walks with my shoulders back and my chin up high. That's who I am as an individual, and I absolutely not refuse to change. And I cannot catch depression. All these people out here saying that depression is a disease, I can't fucking catch it. I'm immune. Because I'm living life. They're trying to attack me with everything they can. I can't catch depression. It's never happened, never fucking will. And I stand by that. Another thing that's really important, I say this all the time, nearly every word that comes out of my mouth is self-hypnosis. Every word that comes out of my mouth is self-hypnosis. And it's the same for everybody.
Self-hypnosis, meaning when you hypnotizing yourself by keep telling yourself that you're something, whatever it is, right? And there's something to that, you know. Many people say, many experts, scientists say that the sound is the beginning of creation. The sound wave vibration. Some say matter, some say, but that everything came from sound. I'm too stupid to try to break it down in scientific stuff, but I read it somewhere. And I believe there's something to that, because I believe that in the beginning was the Word, right? And the Word was God, and the Word was with God, right? Was the power, and was with the powers. So if you refuse to say something, say it. And you refuse to say it, does it ever become real? In your mind, if you refuse to say, I'm depressed, I'm not going to say that. Although you may be going through the emotions of depression, but you refuse. And I think what Mr. Andrew Tate is saying here is that you're not bringing things to reality. Some people may say, well, goodbye, you're ignoring it. You're not supposed to ignore your problems, right? And shout out to Justin Wood with the Cash App donation. Shalom, brother. Thank you. I forgot to mention that. $25. I appreciate you, man. You guys keeping me up. Okay, keeping me up. In the beginning, what's the Word? So are we not paying attention to what we're saying and talking and bringing things to existence? Are we putting curses on ourselves? Like I talked to brothers from the tribe of Judah. I said, listen, we have to be careful with, say I'm black. Because when you look into history, black always dealt with the darkness, negativity. White always dealt with righteousness and purity. The Moors are big on this. If you look at the Moors, they said that the white is a status. It's not necessarily a color, because there's nobody that's white. There's nobody that's physically black. We all different shades of brown, but it's a status symbol. It's a status. We need to go much deeper. Is it something that we're putting spell on each other? I don't know. I'm just wondering if we're putting these spells on each other when we say certain things. I'm a this survivor. I'm a that survivor. That may be a good thing. You survive something. Okay, but maybe not allowing it to go out of your mouth. Remember, when God was talking to the Hebrew Israelites in the wilderness, he said, listen, I don't want to even hear the name of the other gods. Why? Maybe there's something to that. You don't mention it. You don't see it. You don't talk about it. It doesn't go into your essence. I don't know. Let's have a conversation. Fair use.
Watching this, every single word you speak is self-hypnosis. Every single thing you say out of your own mouth is almost more important than the things you hear from other people.
Amen.
You can't be sitting there saying, I'm depressed. I got a generational curse. I'm unlucky, bro. You can't be saying these things because you're reaffirming them within your mind. I don't do that. And as many people are going to sit there and say, Tate, you're delusional, you're a narcissist. You go through the world saying you're super lucky and that you're bulletproof and you can do all these crazy things. It's impossible for you to be depressed. You're a narcissist. Perhaps. Look at my life and look at yours.
Yep.
So let's talk about it let's look at it in pure metrics. Who's more?
Right. So you guys understand what Mr. Andrew Tate is talking about. He's been doing this for last 6 months. He hit the internet running and he's doing his thing. So shout out to brother Andrew Tate. Maybe I'll meet him one day. A lot of people are gonna probably say that I took a lot of ideas from Andrew Tate with the Man Going God's Way, but I had Man Going God's Way for years in my mind. It just now is the time. So because Man Going God's Way is about man improving himself and better themselves and becoming the image of God in which they are, Jew or Gentile alike. So if you guys are interested in doing that, I'm actually planning to have my first meeting, my introduction meeting. Let's see here. On November 6th. It's not November. October 30th. That's it. The last Sunday of this month. So, brothers, if you guys want to be involved with that meeting, make sure you have. It's gonna be a Zoom link. If you're gonna be getting the Zoom link that Sunday morning, you have to have a camera and an audio. I have to hear you and see you. Make sure you don't have light behind you. Try to have light in front of you behind the camera. Make sure it's just, you get all that out the way. And we're going to have a first conversation, Man Going God's Way, October 30th, the last Sunday of this month. All right. We're going to finally do it. And it is a movement, it's a philosophy that I'm putting together. I hope it goes one day viral, and because I think we need to help a lot of brothers today. I was speaking to a brother that he was having some life questions, and I'm just here to help. I'm just here to try to help the younger generation and kind of be that big brother and kind of be the guy that can say, hey, listen, I did that. I don't go there. That's a mistake ready to happen. And let me just hold on 2 seconds. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I got the link on the Zoom if you want to chime in. Also, if you want to call in, the number is 646-450-2013. 646-450-2014. Okay, let's talk about it. Is depression a choice? Is it something you catch? Is it demon possession? We believe in the Bible, and we all know that all sickness comes from sin, and these are all demon possession. I believe that, but is it's somewhere in the middle. I don't know. What say you guys? If you guys want to call in, 646-450-2013 is the number. And I'm saying this because, you know, I have family members that suffer from mental illness. I have friends of mine that have dealt with that. And I have seen victories and I have seen failures. Or still the struggles still goes on. But working in private correction, halfway house, I also saw people take advantage of the system. You know, because sometimes when you work in the system or you're caught up in the system, if you say, "Well, I'm this, I'm a drug addict, I'm depressed, I'm having suicidal thoughts," they automatically put you in a different department. There's, a lot of guys were using the system to get a lighter sentence or to work the system out because you get housing quicker, and all that things of that nature. I remember I used to work in a women's shelter. That was a major thing. Women used to say, "I used to get beat up. I'm a victim," and so forth. So when we find out that was not the case, it was just they want to get housing quicker because if you're a female in the shelter and system, obviously you want to get housing, and we usually deal with the people that are dealing with the shelters and the housing. Give to the people who need it the most. That means that you don't have someone to stay, with. You don't have nowhere to go. You don't have a family member, mom, grandma, grandpa, dad, brother. They check for everybody that could house you before they give you housing. So I remember that was sometimes people were working the system. But are people working the system now with this depression? And are we putting psychiatrists and doctors in a tight spot when we're charging so much for medical licenses, and these people have to literally work half their life or most of their life just to pay their tuition off? Is it fair to put a person in that predicament? Mental illness is a product of the failure of the medical system in 2020, and I'm not saying it's all bad, but it definitely needs improvement, but let's see, let's read some of the comments here. It says, in the scripture, it seems like many of the prophets battle with either depression or sorrow. I don't recall any of them being led or defeated by them thoughts. Okay, that is true. We could see David was depressed when he fell and he committed adultery, sleeping with Uriah the Hittite. I know Zechariah was depressed. Not Zechariah. Hezekiah the king. He was depressed for a while. I could imagine, right? But let's deal with some scriptures. What does the scripture says about depression? So let's where am I? Yep. I'm sorry, guys. Let me just add one more video capture device, camera. Uno. Okay, even better. Okay. Digging Shamar. Let me just call him back. Okay. My apologies, folks. So let's read the scriptures real quick. Let's go. Okay, I know what happened here. I have to add the sound. Let me add the sound. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let me see. No, wait. Okay. All right, folks. Okay, I know. Let me fix it real quick. I know what's the problem, and I'm going to fix it real quick. Ba, 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 ba. All right, let me do this. Let me do this. Where are you? Okay, and let me do this. I'm in Proverbs 12, I believe, and 25. Okay, and let me just share this right here. Okay, and boom. Okay. If I'm good, outstanding. Let me put this out the way. Okay. And okay. All right. Sorry, guys. My apologies. I hope this works out. I think it's working out. So, can you guys hear me now? Is the sound good now? Is the sound good before we start? 1, 2, my check. I just want to make sure I'm coming in good. Are we coming in good? Just want to make sure we're coming in good. We're good. Okay. All right. Outstanding. All right. So, heaviness in the heart of man makes it stoop. But the good word makes it glad. Okay. And let me see here, the King James, where's the new King James Version? Let me bring that out. I know I've seen it here somewhere. It got to be in here. If they could just put it math in order, I could find it. Where is the new King James? Maybe I didn't download it. It's impossible. All right, let me go here. My bad. What are you? Proverbs. Where are you? There you. There you go. My God, who are you? What's going on? Why are you hiding from me, Proverbs? You got all that wisdom. I wanna unveil. Right, 12. Okay, heaviness of heart. Okay, that's good. Okay, but I'll read it over here. Okay, the New King James Version read as follows. 12:25 of Proverbs says, "Anxiety in the heart of man causes depression, but a good word makes it glad," meaning the heart. But what if a good conversation with your brother is not enough? What if you keep getting, is it, I'm just asking these questions. Is it a thing that, something you catch? Is it something you catch? If depression is something you catch, or is it something that you can overcome? But I like what, Mr. Andrew Tate was saying. He was saying that there's two routes you could go with this. You could go saying, catch it. No fault of your own. It could be genetics. It could be environmental. It could be trauma related. You caught it. Got him, right? Or refuse to accept that you have it. It doesn't exist. It's on your mind, and you fight through it. Because what's the alternative, right? What's the alternative? Let me. I want to show a video real quick. I want to show a video here. What is the alternative, right? What? If we don't take accountability, right, and operate from a perspective of, let me put this in the beginning, from a perspective that this thing could be controlled. We have to control it, and we should not allow it to control us, right? This is what could happen, right? Let's see this video. This is from a commercial. Antidepressant, anxiety pills. Let's talk about it.
When you think of life with major depressive disorder, or MDD, what do you see? People may think they know exactly what MDD looks like, but the truth is that MDD looks different for everyone, because everyone experiences it differently. To get a more authentic picture of MDD, we have to look at not just the disorder, but also some people living with it. Because when a patient works with their doctor to find the treatment plan that's right for them, it may have a noticeable impact on their MDD. That's what I want other patients to know. Who am I? My name is Jesus.
My name is Ruth. Hi, I am Tatiana.
Our doctors told us about Trintellix, a prescription medicine for adults with a type of depression called major depressive disorder, or MDD. Now, we've become the first Trintellers, a collection of actual Trintellix patients who are telling personal stories of our lives with MDD. Each of us will be recording 1 second of our lives every day, as well as telling you about our recent
I don't know if this is healthy for people who are dealing with depression, are depressed, or I'm trying to figure out a better word because I don't want to declare it as being so, right? Dealing with depression, you're dealing with it. It's something that, because the way I look, depression is just being sad, right? But if you're sad for no reason, then what is that? Is it real? I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I believe the mind is a beautiful thing, and I think if your mind is strong enough and you have enough faith, you can conquer anything. But maybe this is the alternative. You know, maybe this is what we is out there. I don't know. I'm just throwing both sides of the equation. Maybe Andrew Tate is a crackpot, right? He doesn't know what he's talking about. Or maybe he's onto something. I don't know.
Experiences with MGD, working with our doctors, and our journey with Trintellix.
Antidepressants like Trintellix may increase suicidal thoughts and actions in some.
It may increase suicidal thoughts and actions. That's the side effects. Well, I'm saying there's two routes to go here, guys. There are risks on both sides. There's a risk on both sides. I'm not a doctor. I'm just reporting the news.
Some people 24 years of age and younger. Call your doctor right away if you have new or worsening depression symptoms, unusual changes in mood, behavior, or thoughts, or suicidal thoughts or actions while taking it. Do not take it if you take MAOIs, or if you're allergic to vortioxetine or any other ingredients in Trintellix. Tell your doctor about all medicines you take, including migraine, psychiatric, and depression medicines, to avoid a potentially life-threatening condition. Increased risk of bleeding and bruising may.
Hey, listen. I know people personally that have taken antidepressant pills, and they swear by it. I don't think there is one path for this problem. Is the path or one path over another? I just want you to choose your path. I chose mine. I believe that the mind can turn things around. You can will it. You can will your environment. You can will your circumstances to make it, to do your will, or you could do God's will. But I'm built different. I don't know. I'm built different. I don't know what to say. I think different. I look at the world different. And people said about this Andrew Tate, a lot of people said, well, who inspired who? But sometimes you need someone to kind of say, you know what, it's like validation that you thought a certain kind of way, and you now are looking at the world and other people are saying the same thing, and maybe say, okay, I wasn't crazy. But you could will your environment. You just refuse it. You could you just, and I always been that way. I don't wait for, when I feel a direction is the right direction, I just simply go. Even to a fault that I don't consider people around me, and the older I've gotten a little more patience with that. But I don't know. And there's danger in everything that you do. There's risk in everything you do. But I believe you literally stopping and not going the route you're going and refuse to do and feel what you feel. Can you refuse to feel what you're feeling? I refuse to feel sad. I refuse to feel depressed. Can you have the power to do that? I don't know. I know that I have overcome. This is how I have seen things in my life. I don't like sad people around me. I don't like negative people around me because I think it's contagious. You could catch it. Right. Positive reinforcement. I don't know. Joe don't say. I don't know. I'm just trying to have a conversation. Maybe Andrew Tate is crazy. Maybe he's a nut job. Maybe he's not maybe the society is right by removing such reckless person out of social media. I don't know. if you guys want to call in, the number is 646-450-2013. 2013. Because this is the reason why. Okay. Yep. Let's see. Hold on. Let me 2 seconds. Okay, hold on. Okay. Because, just being in a scenario that I experienced, what I experienced the last 10 years in counseling people and just being exposed to a lot. It kind of gave me a perspective like, you know what, there is a conversation that we need to have about depression in the so-called African American, so-called Latino, so-called Native community. Now, we have reasons to be depressed, right? But because what's going on, but let's analyze that, because I was speaking to a friend of mine about, hey, do we have it as bad as we claim we have, or we brothers in the diaspora are the luckiest, right? Because we the one that got shipped out from the slavery, right, ships, and we hear all the trauma here, but the children of Israel are scattered to the four corners. We know this, but are we the one that, running around with Uber and iPhones and I don't know, are we constantly saying, hey, slavery, the curses, we got reason to be upset and depressed. But is a self-predicting prophecy? Is it healthy for us to start saying that? Is it healthy for us to still be in Deuteronomy 28? Is it healthy for us? I don't know. Maybe it's time to move on. Maybe the curses are over and we are just complaining about nothing. And instead of complaining, we should be building. And I don't know. I think there's a shift that we have to shift to, and that shift is, what does it really mean to be this image of God thing? We're supposed to be the image of God, men. What is this image? I got a call, 347.
Call from
Dan John.
To accept, press 1. To
Shalom, brother. How we doing, brother Dan? You're on the line. You live. If you could just mute your phone in the back, I appreciate it. What you got to add to this conversation?
Hey, what's going on, big bro?
What's going on, Captain?
Yeah, so as far as depression is concerned, I think it's real. I would equate it with, or try to connect it with, what's the scripture that where there is wisdom, there's much sorrow.
Yes.
And I would also connect it. Let me see. I think it's Isaiah 53 when it's describing Yeshaya, and it says that he was a man acquainted with grief, a man of many sorrows. So I think there could be maybe some confusion. Maybe it's something that, because because I honestly believe that depression is an actual spirit, you know, an unclean spirit. I do
Okay.
believe that. But I think it's something that maybe us, you know, I think it's something that maybe we have misconstrued. Like maybe we mistake sorrow for depression, or vice versa.
Okay. Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
So walk with me here. So what is your definition of sorrow versus the definition of depression?
Okay, I can only give you an example.
Okay.
But as for myself, like, you know, I was just talking to my dad last night, you know, venting. And, you know, sometimes for me, it's really hard, or, you know, it becomes challenging to enjoy, you know, life. And I say that because I know so much. The scripture has revealed so much truth to me. Like, if I'm home kicking back on the day off, I'm watching television, I can't even enjoy television because every other commercial or every other show that I see, you know, we got I don't want to say anything to get you flagged, but you know, we got
okay.
those, you know what I'm talking about.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. Now, so where does that come from? Did that come from who you are as a person, or that's come from what you are involving yourself around?
I believe both.
Okay.
Like a lot. Like the scripture says that Lot was righteous. He was a righteous man. But it says that he was afflicted.
He was vexed every day. He was vexed every day.
He was because of what was going on around him.
Okay.
You see? So I think it's a little bit of both. So, you know, and especially being that we now understand what's right and what's wrong, how can we fully enjoy these things when society immediately promotes the things that are wrong?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn, like, pardon my French.
Okay.
You know?
So what things you used to enjoy that is lawful, like a guilty conscience, a guilty, what you call them, you know.
A guilty pleasure?
A guilty pleasure, that's it. That is lawful. That it took you back to your childhood, or took you back to your innocence, or took you back to a place that you remember that it brings warm feeling, that you still have something that takes you back to that place.
Wait, hold on. I think you just hit me with some spiritual algebra. Oh, you said, wait, big bro, you said something, a guilty pleasure that was lawful, not unlawful, but that was lawful?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Something that was, all right. Listen, you asked a question, I'm going to keep it a buck.
Okay.
For instance, me dealing with multiple women, right?
Okay.
That was a guilty pleasure of mine because I'm a straight man by every stretch of the imagination.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But so that was a guilty pleasure of mine, and it was lawful because as far as my understanding, I wasn't dealing with any married women. However, now that I'm more abreast with the scripture as far as dealing with women, now I know it's a lot more to it than just dealing with multiple women. Now I know I have to, if I choose to deal with multiple women, I have a right, but I have to assume the responsibility to be a husband to every woman that I choose to deal with. So with that being said, now I can't, now I move I got my foot on the brake. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know,
I don't know if I answered the question. You hit me with a hard question.
right. Well, you know, what is a guilty pleasure that is lawful that brings you back to a good place?
That is lawful.
It is lawful. You know, like for instance, you know, I was telling to my wife. Yeah, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
No. I was telling my wife. I was telling my wife that I said, babe, you know, we gotta let's go to the Copacabana. You know, the Copa it's a famous Latin spot, but you gotta be like 25 and older. You gotta dress up. So usually it attracts older folks, mature folks. And my wife, she likes dancing. We like, you know, a little salsa, a little merengue. And so, you know what? It has a nice little restaurant, and there's no knuckleheads. Let's just enjoy ourselves. A little guilty pleasure that's lawful, and it takes you to a place when you used to be younger. I'm using that as an example, right? A place when life was less stressful. But I think this, you know, you're right. The more you know, the more depressed you get, the more anxiety it brings, right? But what brings me comfort is that we're supposed to win at the end. The good guy's supposed to win at the end, right?
Absolutely.
So why we worry so much?
Good, great question.
I don't know. See, I think this is how I focus. How I cope.
Mm-hmm.
I just decided, listen, I'm just gonna give God the best the best that I can. I'm gonna try my best, and that's what I could do. And I came to terms with that.
Right.
You know, I think when you worried, I think the worrying of you making it or your family making it, and every time you read something or you see something that reminds you of that, that's where the anxiety comes in and the worrying.
Right.
You know.
Right. That's a great point. I tell myself that you know, I take it back to Genesis because of the original sin.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta work by the sweat of my brow.
Yeah.
So I'm content with that. That's etched in the stone of my heart or my mind. That's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I'll rest when the Messiah returns. That's not going anywhere. But it's just like sometimes you just, like, I get to the point where it's like, I was telling my dad yesterday, I'm like, Dad, why does it seem like the things that mean something, mostly relationships, you know what I mean? I'm a simple guy. But when it comes to like the people in our lives that mean something, and even some of the most primitive and simple things that could pertain to a human, why does it seem like I still have to pick up my sword just to get access and to enjoy those things? And why does life seem like such a constant fight? Like sometimes even with your significant other, you know, I go to work, you know, and I love this woman. She's great. But it's like, you know, when I come home or when I go over to her place, you know, make me something to eat, girl. Like, you know, rub my head. Like, you know, put the dog in the cage. Like, why is it always such a fight? All I want is peace. I've been fighting all doggone day. You know, then you got to deal with your families. You know, it's always a fight. And I've learned to pick my fights. But sometimes I just get tired and I just want to disappear. Not on no suicide, all that funny style stuff. Like, I ain't talking about that. Like, I love life. I love this life that the Most High gave me. But sometimes I just get tired. fighting.
So let me ask you a
You
question.
know?
You mentioned your significant other. There's some issues that sometimes occur there. You mentioned some of your family. And I was having a conversation with a brother, and it was a situation that his parents were living with him and the siblings, and they all were kind of like working to kind of pay the bills. And he was having issues, and I told him, it's time for you to move out. It's time for you to start flying the coop because, your family, we come from drama stock, I call them. We come from people that deal with a lot of drama, a lot of issues. And sometimes you have to separate yourself from your scenario because, you mentioned your significant other, there's issues here, there's issues there. I keep telling this to brothers in America, do some traveling, man. Do some traveling, explore your horizon. You have to say, I'm not getting any younger, right?
Right.
There's an old saying that you break up with somebody after 20 years for something that you know of them 10 minutes after meeting them. You break up with somebody, whether it be a friendship, a relationship, after 20 years for something you knew 10 minutes meeting them, about them.
Wow.
But you know how it is. You see someone, you like them, and let's keep it real, guys, right? Us guys, we like who like us first, right? Our options is limited who likes us, right? Who's attracted to us, and then hopefully we attracted to them, and bada bing, bada boom, one thing leads to another, right? So that's why I always tell brothers that if you want to increase your options, there's two things you need to do. The first thing, you have to better yourself as a human being.
Absolutely.
I don't like to use the word black men because that's the word black, when it goes into it, men of color, men of the sun, people of the sun, melanated people,
right.
Hebrew Israelites, but shows people may not understand those lingos. But I think you guys are too emotionally involved with toxic women in your community. Melanated men are too emotionally involved with too much female toxic female spirit or agenda or just drama. I think you guys have to detach yourself out of that, and you have to explore your horizon. And I think by exploring your horizon, that means you should read more books, do more traveling, have more comment, or have more things to experience, and experience more things to have more things to talk about. Because sometimes what happens is that we get stuck in our neighborhoods, we get stuck in our community, and we think that all the women that are in the world act like the women in our community.
Right.
I hear so my understanding, you and your significant other, you guys live together, live separate. What's going on with that?
We live separately. She has her own place. I have my own place.
And how long you guys been together?
6 years.
6 years. And who chose not to live together? Is it neutral? Is it you? Is it her? I'm just curious.
It was me.
And why is that?
At the time when I met her, I was going through a divorce. And we were talking. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to hit. I wanted to get them legs when I saw it. You know what I'm saying? But
right. But was it more like I just wanted just to have sex, casual sex scenario?
I mean, that's basically what you call it. But yeah.
Okay.
She was fine. She was fire. So that's what I wanted. I got the legs, and it turns out I've seen a lot of good qualities in her. Like she had an elderly father, and this woman, she took care of her father, like until his death.
Okay.
She washed him, she fed him, she groomed him, and I found that to be very commendable. She's not a wild woman at all. She's responsible, she's beautiful, and she has a good heart. But from her upbringing, she didn't grow up with her mother. So there's some areas that I see that she doesn't really know how to do certain things as far as nurturing her relationship and catering.
Well,
She can cater.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
When you guys first started the
Right.
relationship, did you saw that in her? Did that something that was in her and then it changed through the time? I'm just curious. What of the two was the reality?
The reality is it was in her and it's still there, but it's like, baby, I'm not your dad. I'm not your dad. I can do for myself. I'm not an elderly man. No disrespect to the elderly brothers out there. But take your foot off the wheel now. I understand you have to be independent in that sense, but that doesn't mean that it's right. I'm here now. I'm in the picture. And I'm trying, and believe me, I'm totally with you as far as, that toxic stuff. Like, I cut them off real quick. But I'm trying to exercise patience because she's not toxic. She just doesn't know. So I guess what I'm looking for is more of a willingness for her to know.
See, this is the whole thing. And this is something that
Mm-hmm.
brothers need to kind of figure it out. And sisters do this and brothers do this within the so-called African American community. Latinos too, but not as frequent. It's been 6 years. You guys are in your 30s? 20s?
She's 30. I'm 41. She's
Okay.
30. I'm 41.
41, 30. 6 years. Who she is who she's going to be. Who you are is who you're going to be. There's a lot of relationship in America, specifically in the so-called African American community. Latino too, maybe white. I don't know that culture so much. I got like maybe 2 white friends. But you guys take on projects. I'm working with her. I'm working with him. This is his problem. He's a good guy. She's a good girl. But where do you think that comes from within the African American community?
It comes from broken relationships from early childhood on. We're broken. We're broken. All of us. We're broken.
Do you? What are you looking for in a woman? Honestly, just don't give me the politically correct answer. Give me the Brad task. What are you looking for?
2 things: respect and cooperation.
Are you getting that from that sister?
Cooperation comes with a fight.
So I will say no.
Right.
Because if you're not getting it and whatever it is you're going through is you're going through it, what they call going through the emotions, going through the experience of not getting what you want. And are you content being with her for the rest of your life the way she is now? Or is it certain things that you don't like but you can live with? Or is it like the way she is the way you're not gonna accept this, that, and the other. You're working on changing that. It's been 6 years. Hopefully she'll change this year. But where are you with this? And the reason why I'm saying this, because remember what I said, that people break up with people after 20 years for knowing something they know after 10 minutes meeting them, right? Mm-hmm. It's been 6 years, my man. Now, let me ask you a question. I don't know if you may be listening or you may be comfortable or not comfortable saying this. Are you one of the situation that you're dealing with her until the next best thing comes along? Like, this is the best you could get? No. Because let me say this, guys and sisters, let me also say this. It's extremely hard for a man to find a woman. I won't say it's impossible. It all depends on the individual. But every man gets a woman that he could first afford, meaning attract, look department, and hopefully that what is attracted to him, he's attracted to, right? Yeah, you pursue a woman, but she has to like you first, right? So you're limited by your finances, you're limited by your looks, your height, all that is in your confidence, all of that is part of the reality of what can you afford. And when I mean afford, not from only a financial perspective, but just in general. What can you get? Can you get a 5? Can you get a 7? Can you get a 10? Can you get an 8? You know, and I'm using these numbers to make you guys kind of go with me this journey, but you get what I'm saying. Are you with her until the next best thing comes along?
No, because if that was the case, I would have been left. I don't have a problem not meeting women, but women check for me, and I say that in humility.
So what's the problem? Is it the thing she's 11 years younger than you? She's probably perky. You can't let that thing go. Is that what it is?
Okay. She's faithful. She's a woman of integrity. She has great domestic skills as far as her caring for a man, being that she took care of her father. Her father left me his blessings to marry her. Her mother loves me. My mother loves her. My dad loves her. So I guess that's where the patience comes in, because I feel like I'm trying to honor something greater than myself just by being the least, by being patient in some degrees, without her walking over me. Like I said, I'm no slouch, but she's just different, and it's just something there. Like, for some reason, I don't cut her off like I did the rest.
All right, well, brother, you got to work that out, because this is the way I look at it.
You see?
Yeah. But I truly believe that people are 100% honest. When they're by themselves looking at the mirror. I think you're like 99% honest with your spouse, with your best friend, maybe 98, 97, 99. There's always a percentage, a 10%, a 2%. You're only honest with yourself when you're by yourself. That's the truth. Right. filter that's you. Ask the same question I asked you by yourself and answer yourself out loud and hear it. If it's different what you're telling me, you got work to do. Do you want Do you want kids?
I have a 12-year-old son. I do want a daughter. I would like a daughter.
All right, but then the reason why I'm saying this is because there is a lot of kids being born in toxic relationship and unstable scenario, right? And the kids are suffering. Mm-hmm. If you want to do that, if that's what you want to do, you're 41. You're not a spring chicken anymore. You have to start making, smarter decisions.
Right.
And it seems like you got your head in your shoulders. You got some stability in your life. And these are the times, this is your midlife years, right? The life expectancy of African Americans, so-called, is like in the 60s. It's horrible. That's 20 years from now.
Damn.
It's not good. That could change though.
Right.
And you know what's the number one death of black men in America?
No.
Heart attack. Something with the heart. High blood pressure, heart attack, the heart just stopped, the heart exploded, something happened to the heart, something's wrong with the heart. All that comes from stress. So you got to ask yourself, are you contributing to this stress? I don't know the sister. I don't know the situation, but, and there's always two sides to every story, right? She's not here to defend herself, to be fair. But so-called black men in America has to start thinking, why are you involve yourself with toxic relationship? And it could be maybe you're the difficult one, right? That you have to work on yourself. I don't know. But I think you should travel a little more. You should travel and explore a different point of view.
I don't mean to say this, but it seems like it's always something with every female. Like, it's.
That's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying, maybe that's what you think you deserve, and that's what you think that's all you could get, and maybe you have to explore your horizon. That's what I'm saying. Like, let me ask you a question, right? You lived, where are you, in New York, the Bronx?
Yeah, I'm in the BS.
All the girlfriends you ever had, girlfriend, wives, what have you, were they lived in the Bronx? They raised in the Bronx?
The majority, yes.
So, I want to give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
If God forbid, I have to get me another wife. My wife leaves me or she passed away, God forbid. I probably would not go to the Bronx to get me a woman. And I'm going to tell you why. It has nothing to do with the Bronx per se. But what they say, to find the best women in America is outside these major cities, somewhere in the Midwest. So it could just simply be, my friend, that you're not taking the data, you're not looking at, okay, which women are more marriageable, which area, which state, which area, which country. Am I making sense, brother? Because maybe in your mind you just say, this is how all women are. But how we know that? The majority of the women you dated been in the Bronx, from the Bronx, because you're from the Bronx.
You know why I say that? TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. These women are bugged out.
Listen, since I started, I started working a week ago. This will be my second week. And I'm like dealing with the world. now more than ever. Because before it was like everything was church meeting, church service, church feast day, something with the church. And now coming out the church, but not under truth. I'm still believing in God, still believing in the Bible, gun ho. But now I gotta like deal with the world, right?
Right.
What exists in the internet world versus exists in the real world is two different things. There was a saying that I like. It says, if you want to deal with diversity or different race or different culture, just live in the real world. You're gonna meet that, and especially in New York. I mean, by the time you walk down the street, you saw an African, an Arab, a Chinese, a white. You know what I'm saying? We have to explore and we have to get out of our comfort zone.
Right.
And especially the black man, so called. You guys are not usually appreciated in your neighborhood, in your inner circle. Sometimes you have to go outside of your inner circle to be appreciated a little more. I'm just exploring your mind and to see if you could just look at things differently. And I'm not saying sisters there's not good sisters in the Bronx. They are, but they're all taken. A lot of them are. So the percentage of me finding a marriage or wife in these major cities, could it happen? Yeah, anything's possible. I won't rule it out, but I will explore my horizon.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. And it takes drastic measures, if what's the scripture say? If a man seeks or finds a good wife, if you find her, that means you was looking, you were seeking.
Right.
Then that's what I'm saying, brother. And sometimes a lot of brothers get caught up in these relationships that, the things that you said, I asked you this question. The way she is now, if she doesn't change, will you be able to stay with her for the rest of your life? You say, absolutely not. It's been 6 years.
No, because it would be impossible for me to do the work of the Most High. And that's a factor also.
It's been 6 years, brother.
Right.
It's been 6 years. And what I'm saying, brother, is that black men are dying quick, man. Dropping like flies. Look at Coolio, 59.
Right.
That's young.
That's a fact.
And maybe you guys are creating this scenario that you're adding to the stress by, constantly surrounding yourself with people that are constantly giving you high blood pressure, brother. You mentioned your family. I was speaking to a brother today. I said, brother, you need to separate yourself from your family. But they this. You're gonna have an early grave, man. We have to stop being a little more selfish and first think about ourselves and our well-being. And we have to stop. We have to stop creating projects for ourselves. I'm gonna change her. I'm going to work with her. You either have to accept the way they are or move on, man, because it's going to kill you. With my wife, I'm going to keep it real. When I first met my wife, I'm like, I'm going to hang out with this sister until I find something better. You know what happened? I didn't find something better. I looked, though. Tried to find, but I didn't. I met the right girl at the wrong time. But I didn't have to change her. It was not a project. If a woman's a project, bro, and if she's bringing you stress, you got to start taking some accountability. And I'm hearing, I saw her. She looks hot. I want to smash. Brother, are you being led by which head are you being led by, brother?
Right.
It's only going to give you an early grave, man. You got to value yourself a little more.
Right.
Value yourself a little more. And I don't know her side. You know, I don't, you know, but regardless, whatever it is, it may be you may be the situation that you have to separate yourself. Because sometimes, you know, it's like me, I know I avoid certain people because they pull my buttons.
Right.
In their mind, they acting numbers, you know, no more, excuse me. But, you know, they pull my number. So I got to separate myself from that environment. You know, so it's just food for thought, man. It's just food for thought.
Right.
Because we're dropping like flies out here, and no one is talking about these, you know, men's health. And are we putting ourselves in these predicaments that we are creating our mental health scenario? And, you know, I'm not here to argue whether mental health is a condition or something is a choice. I don't know the answer.
Mm-hmm.
But does it say it is a condition? So what? Does it do we just lay down and take it because it's a condition, or do we fight? Do we have to get extreme and say, you know what, I deserve to be happy. I deserve to at least be content in my life. And, you know, I think a lot of brothers are brainwashed, thinking that all women are like this. Maybe it's the city you was born. That's all. Maybe you need to move.
Right.
Maybe all the good women are taken. You're just dealing with the scrap because you waited too long. You know what I mean? It could just be a logical explanation, but you're viewing it at this is the way it is throughout the whole entire universe. Is it? You know, so explore your horizon, brother. Travel, meet some new people, get out of your neighborhood and travel a little bit. Meet people. You know, anything else you want to add, brother?
Nah. You just dropped some jewels on me, so I'm a whole lot.
All right, brother. Well, thanks for supporting, man. Thanks for, you know, you representing the Boogie John. What part of the Bronx you in?
I'm from the South Bronx.
South Bronx.
I currently live in the North Bronx.
Yeah. You know, I think New York is coming back a little bit. You know, it was like.
Nah, it's a wrap.
You think it's a wrap? I don't know.
We lost it.
I don't know,
bro.
I know. I mean, you could be right. You could be. Maybe my hopeful. But you know, there's a lot of anxiety people out there. You know, took the train for took it a few weeks ago. I had a meeting in Manhattan because I work in Westchester, but I'm being trained, and you know, I just got a new phone, and then you know, the old New York is coming back. You know,
where
there's something special about New York. You know, it's something it's like I took the subway. There was a homeless guy. He just sat down. Nobody paid him any mind. He talking to himself. Then he just gets up to the next stop, breaks out. Nobody's even like, it's like crazy New York, man. Crazy New York. I love it.
Right.
You don't know what you're gonna get, right? But, you know, the nostalgic feeling about it, you know. But I don't know. You know, I think this internet thing is great, but it's talking to people and engaging with real people, and sometimes it's not all one way or another way, you know, because it's like maybe the internet, the television is giving you visions, right? Spells, is making you think, well, I'm only going to be okay, since all women are the same, are horrible, right? I might as well get one with the big butt and the smile. Maybe you get what I'm saying? Because I noticed that
right.
when you first started this conversation, the first thing was her looks.
Right.
And maybe subconsciously you say, you know what, they all are paying a butt. I might as well get a nice butt out of it. That makes sense?
I mean, I can't lie though. Like I can only go after what I like aesthetically, but it just so happens that
but if you're looking for that,
woman.
right? If you're looking for that, right? And usually, statistically speaking, the good women, they hide that. It's harder you to see that. You can still see it if you got some curve, but they don't promote that.
Nah, but big bro, this is what I'm talking about.
Say again.
When I
repeat
saw
that.
her, she was, huh?
Repeat that last part again. I didn't catch it.
Nah, I was saying this is what I'm talking about. When I first saw her, I had to use my imagination. She was modest. This is what I'm saying.
So
She was
what race is she? What nationality is she?
She's Morena.
Okay.
She's a Morena. But her
She
dad's
grew up in the
Moreno.
Bronx?
She grew up in the Bronx, right.
Okay.
Right. Her mom's is Latina.
The mom's Latina. Okay.
And the pops was Morena.
Oh, then okay. So they grew up in the same family? Did father and mother still together, or they broke up early?
No, they broke up early.
So she was raised with her mother?
She was raised with her dad.
With her dad, interesting. Okay.
You see this is what I'm saying, big bro.
Okay.
You see?
But it's but let me just say this. Bro, probably as the Bronx is concerned, that's probably the best you could get. So either pull the trigger. Do you understand what I'm saying? That she wants to marry you, or she's comfortable with the situation you guys are in?
Of course she wants to marry me.
Well,
but
listen,
I'm shook. I'm shook. I'm shook.
And what you shook about?
I've been divorced before.
Well, okay. All right. Well, yeah. Well, no. Let me agree with you. I don't believe in conventional marriage. So what I mean marriage is living in this cohabitation. You know, I declare my wife, and so she is my wife. Okay, I don't need a piece of paper. So
Likewise.
Let me give you give the auditor that disclaimer. Now, will she be willing to cohabitate with you without the piece of paper, or that's a done deal?
Oh, we spoke about that. I definitely spoke to her about that. I spoke to her about multiple wives if I choose. She had some things to say, but it didn't go the way that I thought. I thought she would be tripping out over it, like bugging out over it. But I think it's something she would be open to.
Well, brother,
I don't know about
listen, in regard of the Bronx, that's the best you could get, Ak.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, you're looking at the cup of empty. You should look, it's half full. It's, what I'm saying is you have to make the decision. You understand? She's 30 years old.
Right.
Which is a good thing that, you're older than her. Try living with her for 1 year. She said, hey, let's try living and see how that works out.
Hell no.
Why is that? Why is that?
Oh, man, you know how it goes, big bro. Like, when a lot of these women feel like they got power over you, like, it's like they not like Sarah no more. They not like Rebecca no more. These women.
Okay, listen, brother. Listen, I hear what you're saying. If you're that afraid to move in with the sister, all I'm saying, explore your horizon. That's what I'm saying. Explore your horizon. I mean, think about it. You because you're kind of living the life of a big town for the most part. And I'm not judging. I'm not. And that's what you're comfortable with, because if I didn't believe in God, I'll be a MGTOW. But I believe in God, so I gotta go God's way.
I'm not comfortable with it. I know I'm getting older, and I don't want a nurse in the nursing home wiping my nostrils when I'm older. Like, I want my woman cleaning me up.
And you're not, you're not getting any younger. That's what I'm saying. You're not getting any younger. But I understand if she may say, "Hey, listen, I want to clean your butt when you're 80. I want the piece of paper." You have to make a tough decision. I wouldn't do it. You know. But let me ask you a question. And shout out to Brother Travis.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be calling you. My apologies. I've been working. He deals with life insurance, and I'm gonna be bringing in an expert about that. Are you getting prepared for your retirement? And I know I say life insurance. A lot of people don't know that they could retire using the life insurance, or even start business, invest. And I'm gonna bring some experts on maybe
No
Thursday,
doubt.
God willing. So if you're unofficially being M.G.G.W, right? You're not gonna be under a woman living with you, cohabitation, two separate situations. I'm not judging. Obviously, I'm a Christian. I believe that a man and a woman, if they land together, that's your house, that's your wife, and you guys should cohabitate. But I know it's hard in this society. Find a good woman that you can be peaceful, And I want you to go back and listen to this conversation, and especially the part when I ask you, why don't you try to live with her for 1 year? And I want you to go back and listen to your reaction. You got extremely excited. No, heck no. Hell to the no. No way. I was like, all right, brother. I was just don't bite my head off. I just want to see.
Yeah,
I want you to
fault.
eat. No, it's not your fault. I just want you to self-examine. Like, man, that was kind of extra for a woman that you've been with for 6 years. That's what I'm saying, brother. That's what I'm saying. If you're comfortable in your MGTOW experience, hey, I'm not knocking your hustle. But if you want more, all I'm saying is you got to pull that trigger. You got to make the decision, brother. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Because now you have to start thinking about your retirement, your golden years. See, a lot of, especially within the Hebrew Israelite community, Christ is coming any day now, so we don't even think about retirement, life insurance. Just in case, Christ may not come in our lifetime. He may not, but we have to be able to prepare if he's coming tomorrow or it's coming in the next 100 years. And I think we could do both.
Right.
So at this time, brother, men are usually living alone. Or men are usually comfortable, living alone more than women. Women are more, it hits them a little worse than men. Because women are more social creatures than men. But it's not that much of a difference. It's not like we like being alone all the time, every time, no one talking to us ever. That is also could lead to depression.
Right.
Craziness, and you end up talking to yourself because nobody's talking to you, right?
Right.
So you get what I'm saying, brother, right? And it may be a thing that you have to start planning. Okay, if this the woman that I could rock with, and like I said, don't get legally married. Don't take that risk. As long as you have a verbal agreement, knock yourself out. But is it if the woman that you're gonna probably be there now is probably the woman you're gonna be for the rest of your life or not? You have to make the decision.
Right.
Is monogamy been hard for you? Is that something that's been hard for you?
As of the past couple of years, no.
It's gotten easier.
No. Say it again.
It's gotten easier.
It's gotten much easier. Once I cracked open Leviticus and Numbers, it got much easier.
Okay.
It got much easier. Once I learned about polygamy and that it's legit, according to Scripture, it just opened my understanding so much. Now I move differently.
Well,
I know my rights.
people confuse polygamy and whoremongering.
Right.
I used to believe I was polygamous until I reread the scriptures. Like, oh, I'm a whoremonger. None of these women know of each other or barely know of each other. I'm being a player, and I believe that we have to promote the culture that our forefathers had. And our forefathers had, he had all his wife under his submission, under his home, and they were all working together for one mission. What I had is I had a girl in the Bronx, a girl in Brooklyn, a girl in Staten Island, right? We had no mission, right? That's something different. And and I'm not, I believe that it's a necessary thing, right?
Absolutely.
Now, but regardless whether the sisters are going to do it or not, we should not wait on them, and we should just explore the horizon and explore different areas and different cultures that will accept that lifestyle, if that's what you choose. And don't stay here trying to argue with people that will never see your point of view, but which is biblical, by the way. All right, brother. Any last words you want to add?
Nah, shout out to the BS. Yo, BG, you better be tuning in, bro. If not, I'm going to send you the link. But yeah, shout out to all the brothers and family. The Most High is great, and he's alive and well. Shout out and much love to what you're doing, big bro.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for your support. Thank you so much. There goes Brother Dan right there doing his thing. Just engaging, man. Just engaging. Because it's like one of those things, guys, is that what I want to do with this show, and I know I haven't been coming on as often. I have to readjust my sleeping with this new job schedule and everything else. And I want to try to come back on Thursday, but I want to engage with every people and everyone and wherever they're at, because I think as Christians, sometimes if somebody, we're dealing with someone that doesn't believe in Christ, I'm not saying this brother did, Brother Dan, he does believe in Christ, but I'm just giving you an example, or may not be walking with Christ in the same step you're working with. Sometimes you got to give them unworldly advice to bring him to Christ. And sometimes you gotta just talk to him about things. And that interaction, that help will go a long way. Sometimes we're trying to preach Christ too much rather than just putting on Christ. Just having a lending ear and just having a conversation. And what I want brothers to kind of get in their mind is that you are much more powerful than you think you are. You are much more powerful than you think you are. You have more option than you think you are. I just want to elevate your confidence, not your cockiness, but your confidence, and putting yourself in a predicament. So, you know what? This is what I don't like. This is what I do like. And by you questioning what you don't like. Now, if you don't like certain things, this is what I used to do, and this is what I still do. I check with my friends that I value their opinion. And so listen, there's something about me that I don't like my spouse doing, or I don't like this, I don't like that. If I'm overreacting, is that overboard, right? Is that, and if they say it is overboard, I'm not saying that you should automatically listen to them, but you should consider maybe you could tweak your likes and dislikes. But once you have your dislikes and what your bottom line, what you will not tolerate, do not allow society to hinder you from what you feel is right. Make sure that what you feel is right is right. Double check it with Scripture. That's what I would do. I'm a Christian, but I don't know what everybody who's listening. Proofread it. Proofread your thoughts with your friends, with loved ones. And if it's proofread and it is colleague approved, criticized by your colleagues, iron sharps iron, right? Don't compromise. And if you're dealing with somebody that is breaking those bottom lines, why are you with them? Because there's a lot of people that are just like what's going on with brother. It's like they're with someone. What that person is doing is been under their bottom line. They've been trying to change this person. They've been trying to knock some sense into this person. There was, that person's trying to knock some sense into you. Why you guys are with each other? And I know who the population I'm talking to. A lot of you guys believe in the Bible. And a lot of you guys may have a different interpretations. Now I'm getting fans from different camps, different demographic, but for the most part are Bible believers. And I'm about redemption. I'm not saying that, brother, if you're going to leave your situation, you should just leave. You should try to make it better. But sometimes making it better is you getting advice from someone else. Because the problem may be you. There's a lot of dysfunctional men out there blaming women for their dysfunction. Not all, but there's a lot of you guys out there. And maybe you have to explore your horizon. Maybe you have to say, you know what, I have to look at a different culture. A different state, a different borough, a different area to explore my horizon. But also we have to be disciplined enough. I know they mentioned about what you saw, and she was conservative and all that good stuff. And usually there's something missing in these conversations. Usually you want to get both sides of the equation, but a lot of brothers are caught up in relationships that are constantly toxic. It's like constantly arguments with some sparks of good stuff. I don't understand that. And I'm talking to you, brother, specifically. And these are brothers that, are in relationships that are, you guys not cohabitating. There's no kids involved. Before you pull that trigger, it's like arguing and debate is the norm with some sprinkles of maybe a little good sex, makeup sex, and, oh, yeah, we had a good time at her grandma's house last week. Like you have to think about the time you had a good time. It should be the other way around. It should be you having a great time, and you have to think about the last argument you had. You have to think about the last stress day you had with your spouse. I don't know. I don't know the answer to these things, but I hear a lot of these conversations, and the question is, why is that? Are we attracting the wrong person? Or maybe we psychologically thinking this is all we deserve. So therefore, and I'm speaking directly to the brothers. So let me, this is what it is. Let me just throw my head and, maybe you cutting yourself short. Get a passport, travel. Get a ticket somewhere. Go to a city. You spend there a week. Your vacation, you stay there a week. You never know. You never know. You may discover something that you never knew existed. So I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. Once again, if those that want to donate, you could donate to the Cash App or the PayPal. The PayPal is #IAMFITPodcast, no space. And the Cash App is the $ IAMFITPodcast 1. That's the only difference. I appreciate you guys supporting. I'm going to be getting back to the swing of things. My brother's starting a new job, so our schedule was conflicting. We're going to try to hit those streets again. Soon I'm going to be having also on Rumble I do have an account on Rumble. You guys could subscribe to that as well, because I'm going to be putting exclusive content on Rumble. So on, they say that to get to have the ability to go to live stream, I need 100 subscribers, and I think I got like 60 something. So I need like another 40 something. I think I have to double check, but just go to Rumble. The link is below. Subscribe, and I'll be able to go live there. Rumble is more, I will say, liberal or conservative. Well, they more liberal, because the word conservative is what is happening in these so-called liberal TikToks and Instagrams, and you get kicked out from. They're very restrictive, right? Conservative, right? For a so-called liberal social media. But in Rumble, I want to be discussing certain things that I don't feel comfortable talking here in YouTube. I'm going to have both. But to go live, I need 100 subscribers. Go there. Make sure you haven't subscribed. Make sure you subscribe below. I'm short 1,000. I'm getting close to 1,000, like 855, I think. I'm going to try to crack that 150. So if you think you've been subscribed, just double check just in case you was unsubscribed. So yeah, man, regardless whether you catch depression or depression is only an illusion, regardless who's right. What I do agree with Mr. Andrew Tate is that you could fight it and you could acknowledge it and say, you know what? Okay, I got depressed. I caught depressed. Oh, like you step on crap. Oh, look, I step on depression. That's not the end. You can still beat it. And I truly believe it all starts with here. Your will, how strong you are. How strong you're willing to. See, I don't think I could suffer from depression because I'm too stubborn. Something about me is like, nah, I can't go down like that. Maybe it's my ego. I don't know what it is. And I think there's that stubbornness in every man. You got to know, being stubborn is good. Saying no is good for the right cause. So with depression, I'm stubborn, and I'm always going to be stubborn. With sadness, I'm a type of guy that it takes a lot for me to be real happy. So there's sparks of happiness. But it also takes a lot for me, but it takes a lot for me to get angry. So I protect myself from that. Because the best feeling in the world is being content. Happy is overrated. Sad is overrated. Being content is supreme. Just be comfortable in your own skin. You're good. Because there's always something you need to get, something you have to work on, so you're never going to be 100%. Even that should not say that, right? Because that's like you're never going to be, on the way of you exceeding your perfection. Be content with where you're at. Not sad about it. Not even too happy about it. Just be content. If you content, you will never have the ability to be disappointed. Until next time, peace and blessings, and may the Most High keep you and watch you.